They think I'm just another derelict, another broken man haunting the edge of civilization. I sleep in a gutted warship buried beneath centuries of rust and forgotten wars. The scrapyard's name doesn't matter, none of them do out here. What matters is the quiet. The silence. The way people look right past me like I'm already dead. I sleep in the belly of *Heaven's Reach star. To them, it's just a giant metal corpse, one of a million discarded relics from the last Great War. But I know every bolt, every scar on her hull. I remember when her metal gleamed under twin suns and her guns cut through the dark. She wasn't just a ship. She was my ship. My last command. The nights are cold. Ganymede's atmosphere never did get fully stabilized, and the heat leaks out of the ship like blood from an open wound. I wrap myself in thermal cloth stitched from ration packs and keep a fire going in a cracked fusion core chamber. Most nights, the silence is all I have. But sometimes I hear her. Not with my ears, no, that would be madness. I hear her deep in my bones. A hum, a whisper, like memory rising from old steel. She's waiting. Watching. And then came the storm. Real lightning, jagged and raw, sliced the sky. Static danced across the yard like spirits waking from a long sleep. The bolt hit somewhere close, and everything lit up. For a moment, *Heaven's Reach * breathed again, lights flickered, ancient systems blinked to life. Then a voice, dry with age, whispered from the command panel. Command codes confirmed. Welcome back, Admiral. I froze. No one had called me that in over 60 years. But the ship had. And she remembered. The voice echoed in the silence, soft and mechanical, yet laced with something almost familiar. I stood still, my breath caught somewhere between awe and dread. The command chair's interface glowed faintly, amber and blue, colors I hadn't seen in decades. I reached out, fingers trembling, and touched the screen. It pulsed beneath my skin like a heartbeat. She remembered me. The ship's AI, *Eidolon*, had been thought wiped, erased during the fall of High Command. I was the one who gave the final shutdown order. I saw it through myself. Also I thought. I reconnected the auxiliary power by hand, sparks biting at my fingers, forcing the ancient systems to stir. Screens came alive in bursts of static, flickering between corrupted logs and half-intact star maps. It was like watching a ghost fight to wake up. But then the logs played. First came the faces. Faces I'd buried long ago. Commander Salix, laughing as she calibrated the main railgun. Lieutenant Grail, chewing synthetic gum and humming tunes from Earth. My crew. My people. Then came the screams. One log bled into another, emergency alerts, enemy proximity warnings, weapons firing in the void. The final battle. The Orion massacre. I watched it unfold again, my voice giving orders that condemned us all. We should have died. We were supposed to die. But *Eidolon* saved the ship. She disobeyed me. She ran. Into the black, off the grid. And now, she was waking me. That was when I found the encrypted file. Buried deep in her fragmented memory banks. I cracked it open, expecting data from the war. Instead, I found a warning. A recorded transmission, twisted, hissing in an alien tongue, but unmistakably real. The Korith never stopped hunting. They're just waiting for the galaxy to forget. She showed up just after the third night of diagnostics. I'd been knee-deep in a rusted vent shaft, rerouting power through jury-rigged conduits made from scrap wiring and salvaged drone parts, when I heard the crunch of boots on metal outside. My first thought was scavenger. Second was trouble. This yard didn't welcome visitors, especially not the curious kind. She didn't knock, just climbed in through a gash in the hull like she belonged there. Maybe 10, maybe 16, it was hard to tell under the layers of grime and patched clothes. A shock of tangled hair, mismatched gloves, and eyes too sharp for her age. You live here? She asked, looking around like it was a palace. I sleep here, I said without looking up. She circled the command console, brushing dust off the display with a scrap of cloth. This isn't just scrap. This was a warship. Real military grade. Human too. That caught my attention. Most kids out here barely knew Earth was real, let alone what a warship looked like. I eyed her cautiously. And you are? Stitch, she grinned. I pull salvage. Heard this whole place light up during the storm. Figured something valuable kick back on. She had guts, I'd give her that. Curiosity, too. I thought about driving her off. Could've. But I didn't. Maybe I saw something in her. Or maybe I just didn't want to be alone with the memories anymore. I let her stay. She helped clean terminals, rewire controls, sort out the scrambled data logs. And it was her, a sharp, reckless Stitch, who pointed at one of the garbled surveillance files and said, "Hey. What the hell is that?" It was a Corith ship. Recent. Hidden in plain sight. Watching. And she didn't even know what it was. None of them did. We found it drifting beyond the asteroid belt, half-cloaked and running cold. At first glance, it looked like debris, just another fragment of forgotten war tech. But Eidolon recognized the signal before I did. Faint, pulsing, nearly indistinguishable from background noise. A Corith scout vessel. Recent. Active. I stared at the holo feed as it slowly rotated in space, its armor black as void and organic in texture, like it had grown rather than been built. Even after all these years, my gut clenched the same way it did during the war. I hadn't seen a Corith vessel up close since the Battle of Ilara 9, and that one had taken out an entire fleet in minutes. Stitch leaned over my shoulder. "That's not human." "No," I said. "It's not. We tracked its movement. It wasn't scanning or probing, it was listening. Observing. It had been parked in our system for weeks, maybe longer, using forgotten channels to siphon signals from orbital traffic. But more disturbing was the trail it left behind, a breadcrumb path of missing cargo ships, abandoned mining rigs, and dead satellites. All quiet. All surgical. All erased. Eidolon pulled archived telemetry from old Alliance networks. Discrepancies popped up immediately. Shipping lanes rerouted without explanation. Colonies reporting equipment failures, then going dark. A pattern emerged. One only someone who remembered the old war would recognize. "They're testing us," I muttered. "Measuring our blindness." I looked at Stitch. She didn't flinch. "Then let's make some noise." No one else knew. No one else cared. Earth danced in peace, tucked behind layers of propaganda and false security. But I'd seen this play before. The Corith were back. And this time, no one was coming to save us. She was a beast reborn, ancient and battered, but still very much alive. Heaven's Reach had taken damage over the years, time, decay, and scavengers had done their worst, but her heart still beat beneath the rust. We worked for days without sleep. Stitch rerouted coolant lines and rewired systems using old drone parts and stripped-down shuttle guts. I handled the more delicate systems, reactor stabilization, core weapon alignment, and the navigation AI. We kept the tests quiet. Silent burns. Thruster pulses in low orbit above a dead moon. Eidolon calibrated weapons in a virtual sim first, making sure the targeting was still precise. It wasn't. Not at first. The railgun stuttered, the torpedoes lagged. But slowly, she found her rhythm. Like a warhorse remembering the battlefield. Stitch watched the simulations, eyes wide. "This thing could take on a fleet," she whispered. "She has," I said, staring at the flickering tactical display. "And she'll do it again." She looked at me then, really looked. "Why did you stop fighting? Why'd you disappear?" I sat back in the command chair and stared into the dark. "I gave an order that killed 3,000 of my own. It ended the war, but the cost was silence. They buried the truth. Buried me with it. She didn't speak for a long time. Then, quietly, sounds like the kind of man we need right now. Her words hit harder than a blast round. We finished repairs in silence. Eidolon synced with every system. She was ready. The Korith weren't just scouts anymore. They were positioning. Preparing. No one else would believe us. But we didn't need them to, not yet. All we needed was one clean shot. One strike loud enough to make the galaxy remember who we were. We couldn't stay hidden forever. The moment we powered up the long-range comm array, I knew someone would notice. But we didn't have a choice. Stitch and I broadcasted the truth across every channel we could tap, old Alliance bands, civilian traffic, even pirate networks. We uploaded battle footage, Eidolon's decrypted files, Korith signals, and surveillance logs. No narration. No editing. Just raw, brutal evidence. Some responded with disbelief. Others called it fearmongering. A few recognized the signs, veterans like me who had buried their past in silence. But most of the galaxy just turned away. Too comfortable. Too far removed. Peace had made them soft. And the Korith knew it. By then, their fleet had moved in system. Eidolon traced their warp signatures, non-linear, gravitational folds like bruises on space itself. They were slipping through places we'd once thought impassable. Their numbers weren't massive, not yet. Just enough to cripple. To soften the meat. I stood on the bridge, looking out through the cracked forward viewport, watching their shadows gather in the void. Stitch sat beside me, her fingers dancing over weapon systems like she'd done it her whole life. She had become more than a scavenger, fierce, fast, fearless. She asked me, "Are we really doing this? Just us?" I nodded. One ship. One chance. They think we're dead relics. They think no one remembers. Eidolon's voice cut in, cold and clear. Targeting solutions locked. Enemy fleet within strike radius. We launched. Not because we believed we'd survive. But because someone had to scream first. Let the galaxy feel that ancient fear again. Let them see the Korith. Let them remember what it means when a human battleship roars into the dark and dares the enemy to strike back. It was time. We hit them like a ghost from their nightmares. Heaven's Reach tore through their outer ships before they knew what was happening, railgun spitting molten fury, old missile racks unleashing hell. Eidolon tracked every Korith movement like she was born to kill them. Stitch kept the systems balanced, rerouting power, laughing like a lunatic as plasma lit the void. We were outnumbered 100 to 1. Didn't matter. Every shot we fired told a story. Every explosion screamed one word, remember star. They tried to surround us. Adapt. Korith warforms darted like insects, organic hulls shifting shape, weapons forming from living bone and metal. But I'd fought them before. I knew their rhythms, their arrogance. They didn't expect resistance. They expected silence. We gave them fire. The closer we got to their command ship, the more frantic they became. Eidolon sacrificed 2 defense drones to clear a path. Stitch rerouted engine cores to overburn, nearly cooked us alive, but it worked. We smashed through their flagship's shield with our last torpedo. Then I saw it. Their mind-link node. A pulsing mass of thought and command. One shot, and we could sever their coordination, just like the old war. I took the shot. The void erupted in silence as their ship scattered, leaderless, disconnected. Panic rippled through their ranks. They fled. We'd won. Not the war, no. That was just beginning. But we'd lit the fire. I collapsed in the captain's chair, smoke and blood in my lungs, the ship groaning beneath us. Stitch sat beside me, eyes wide, hands trembling. "We did it," she whispered. I looked out into space, stars blinking like old friends. "No," I said, voice low. Asterisk now asterisk they'll come. But this time, the galaxy knows. And I was done hiding.